Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الأطيبين الأنجبين بهم نتولى ومن أعدائهم نتبرأ إلى الله. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. It is the night of Eid, and one of the greatest of Allah's days is the night of Eid al-Fitr, and it is recommended that on this night you recite the takbirat that are recited on the day of Eid, and that is when we set off to offer our Eid prayers, and those takbirat be recited for tonight, and also the dua that we recite on the night of Friday, eve of Friday, on Thursday nights, that is also recommended for tonight. I'll read that. We'll start the program with that. The takbirat read: Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallahu wallahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar walillahi alhamd, alhamdulillahi ala ma hadana, walahu shukr ala ma awlana. And the dua is: Ya da'im al-fadl ala al-bariyya, Ya basit al-yadayn bil-atiyya, Ya sahib al-mawahib as-saniyya, Salli ala Muhammadin wa alihi khayr al-wara sajiyya, Waghfir lana ya dhal ula fi hadhihi al-ashiyya. Repeat this as much as you can tonight and until the Fajr. You've got all that time. Takbirat also, inshallah, when we start the PDF, and the link has also been sent to you. You can get it from there. Now it's the night of Eid. One of the wajibat. आगा अहमद रज़ा आपको होस्ट बनाया हुआ, आप देख लें ज़रा ये म्यूट करने का. जी, one of the things that are wajib for tonight is setting aside the zakatul fitr. Zakatul Fitr, it's wajib on every one of you, and you have to pay that for yourself and your dependents. And it is one zakat that is required. If there are multiple families living in a house, in a dwelling, then if one is paying the zakat for himself and he notifies the others, then you don't need to pay another zakatul fitr for the same person. It's just like these premiums that we pay for insurances. It's one insurance and one premium. Now if you get a rundown insurance, just a third party insurance, there you pay a very minimum and a small amount, and it's just a third party cover that will be covering your insurance, your policy. But if you pay a good premium, it's going to be a fully comprehensive cover. So this zakatul fitr, it's a health insurance that is paid at the end of this Eid al-Fitr, which covers you inshallah for the next 1 year, and Allah will protect from all these mishaps and problems and all these balas that unfold upon us. They are taken care of. They are taken care of by this insurance.
I cannot hear you.
Yeah, I was muted by the host. Okay, so the zakatul fitr, it's wajib to be paid on tonight. So you pay that for yourself and you pay that for all of your dependents, and you don't need to pay multiple zakatul fitr if there are 2-3 people living in a household and all of them are working. If I take out my zakatul fitr and I notify the others that I have paid my zakat, so they do not need to pay my zakat as well. So it's one zakat needs to be paid for every one person, and the better you pay, it's the better policy you get. If you pay that very minimum amount of that zakatul fitr, it's like the third party insurance cover you get. But if you pay a good amount, which is $13 here in Canada, and the $13 means it's that high end rice price that we have, which is sold in North Vancouver. That is the price for a good insurance policy, and then you get a fully comprehensive cover for that. Now, this covers you for the next forthcoming year from all the mishaps and all the balas, inshallah. You, your dependents, all of them, your descendants, whoever you take care of and under your care, everyone who is a Muslim you need to pay their zakatul fitr. That is regarding zakatul fitr, which is wajib to be set out now. And tomorrow, inshallah, when you offer your Eid prayers, one of the things that we have to bear that in mind is the Eid prayers. Because of this pandemic and everyone is indoors, Jamaat prayers, they cannot be offered. And if you do want to offer them at home, it's easy, it's simple, it's 2 rakat prayer, and you can do it yourself. If you know the surahs Shams and A'la, it's better to recite Surah Shams, Surah Al-A'la in the first rakat, and then Surah Shams in the second rakat. And in the first rakat, you've got 5 qunut. If you know the qunut for the Eid prayers, which is Allahumma ahl al-kibriya wal azama, read that. If you don't know that, just 5 salawat. So after the Surah Al-Hamd and the Surah Al-A'la, you will have 5 qunut, Allahu Akbar, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, and then Allahu Akbar. 5 qunut one after the other, and then you go down in ruku, and then sajda, and then the second rakat, Surah Al-Hamd, Surah Al-Shams, and then you have 4 qunut in the second rakat. If you do not know the Shams and A'la, you can recite any surah that you know. So this is the Eid prayers, you have to do it at home. Eid prayers, with this social distancing that we have, it cannot be offered in Jamaat, and if you do it, it's going to be batil. Because the social distancing policy which has been placed here in Canada and in the US as well, they say that you have to have a distance of 6 feet between 2 people. 6 feet means if you're standing behind the Imam, which is 6 feet, 1.8 meters, which is quite far apart. And then if you want to stand behind the Imam with that distance, and then you have a saf with a distance of 6 feet, which is distancing 2 people on the same saf, that Jamaat cannot take place. So it's going to be a furada prayers. You cannot have a Jamaat conducted. The same rule applies to Jummah prayers, that with the social distancing in place, and if you want to abide by the law of the land and also offer the Jamaat prayers, it cannot happen. Yeah, so that is just to keep that in mind. So offer your Eid prayers tomorrow. Now, one of the mustahabbat that you have for tonight and also for tomorrow is a ghusl, which will be done with the intention of qurbatan ilallah, highly recommended, and it is a night no less than Laylatul Qadr. Whatever we have lost throughout the month in these 29 days that were given to us, whatever we have lost, all that can be regained and reclaimed and sought on a night like tonight, which is Laylatul Qadr. Now we thank Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala for giving us this blessing of life, and there says in Quran, لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. If you are thankful to me, I will definitely increase. Increase in what? In everything, in the tawfiqat, in these observances, in the worship that was observed. We also thank Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala for giving us the blessing of life, and then the blessing of health, and all these opportunities that were given to us even in this lockdown, that all of these recitations of du'as and Qur'ans and fasts, etc., we thank Allah and we ask Him to give us further opportunities so that we can benefit much more in the years to come, and the Eid that we get tomorrow be the return of our Imam, our Master, our Hujjah, and that inshallah next Eid we offer in the imamat of Imam al-Asr alayhi salatu wassalam. Quran says, فَاذْكُرُونِي أَذْكُرْكُمْ وَاشْكُرُوا وَلَا تَكْفُرُونَ. You remember me, أَذْكُرْكُمْ, I will remember you, and do not be thankless and ungrateful. Now Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, with all this emphasis that He has, One of the best of things that he says for a night like tonight is tawbah, that is repentance and returning to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. In Quran says that قال عيسى ابن مريم اللهم ربنا أنزل علينا مائدة من السماء تكون لنا عيدا لأولنا وآخرنا. Says Allah, you sent down for us, you send down for us a ma'ida, means a table, which is going to be beneficial for us, for our firstmost, for our lastmost, for our awwal, for our akhir. وَآيَةً مِنْكَ وَارْزُقْنَا وَأَنْتَ خَيْرُ الرَّازِقِينَ, and bless us and bestow the best upon us. Now the best that we want is the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. With reference to the Eid day, when you look into the riwayat that you have, for example, one of them is from Amirul Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. Imam says, Ibadallah, O servants of Allah, Inna adna ma lis-sa'imina was-sa'imat, says the least. Now this is the least. If you have been following this hadith that was from Rasulullah, what a person gets for each day of the sacred month of Ramadan, all that is a bonus, that is separate, that will be given to everyone. Now this is what Amirul Mu'mineen says. Says the least what those who have observed the fast of the sacred month of Ramadan, says from among the men and the women, أن يناديهم ملك في آخر يوم من شهر رمضان, says an angel calls at the end of the sacred month of the Ramadan, that is on the last day, which is tonight. And what does he say? Says, Abshiru ibadallah, good news, O servants of Allah. فَقَدْ غُفِرَ لَكُمْ مَا سَلَفَ مِنْ ذُنُوبِكُمْ, you have been forgiven all the wrong that you did, all the sins that were committed. Allah says you have been forgiven. مَا سَلَفَ مِنْ ذُنُوبِكُمْ فَانظُرُوا كَيْفَ تَكُونَ فِيمَا تَسْتَأْنِفُونَ. Be careful how you start. So all what was done until now has been removed. It's been Control Alt deleted from the system, and from now on it's a new fresh start. Tomorrow when you recite the Salatul Eid, and the time for that is after sunrise and before Zawal, before Zohr. So do it as soon as you can after the sunrise. In that Suratul A'la, you say قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ means prosperous are those who have purified themselves, purified in the sacred month of Ramadan. Now towards the end of the month, people think that because the fasting has ended, that's why we feel light and we feel happy, jolly. The reason for that, what the mystics they say, is we've been carrying a burden of wrong, a burden of sins on our back. And now at this end of the 30 days of fasting, that burden has been removed. So that's why we feel light, we feel happy. So the reason for the joy in reality is because that burden of sins that we were carrying, it has been taken away from us. The same thing is felt on the day of Ashura. You feel light, and towards the Asr and towards the Asr of Ashura. The reason for that is because that also plays the role of Laylatul Qadr. Imam Hussein is Laylatul Qadr. Likewise, tonight is the night of Imam al-Asr. This is also Laylatul Qadr. Laylatul Qadr khayrun min alf shahr. So it's a beautiful night, and mu'minun wal mu'minat ba'dhum awliya'u ba'd. Mu'mineen and mu'minat, they are the custodians of one another. They invite one another to the right. They forbid one another from wrong. All these wajibat that are on me, on you, that apply to all of the mu'mineen. So we have to be taking care of one another. One of the ways of taking care of one another is by paying the zakatul fitr. Those who are weak in the community, in the society, they be helped, they be saved, they be bailed out by paying whatever we can from the zakat and the funds that are given to us. One of the other beautiful quotes that we have from Amirul Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam, he says that أيها الناس, O people, إن يومكم هذا يوم يثاب فيه المحسنون. Says this day of Eid, that is the day of Fitr. Says it is the day when those they have done who have done good, they have to be rewarded. Or in simple words, this day of Eid, it's a payday. That we worked for a month, and at the end of the month we need to be paid. Amirul Mu'mineen says it's a payday, and you are being paid on this Eid day, and that is on this day of Fitr. And then he says that inna yawmakum hadha yawmun yuthabu fihi al-muhsinun wa yukhsiru fihi al-mubtilun. Those who have done nothing and who just spent their month of Ramadan doing nothing, they are the losers. And then he says that this day it resembles the day of judgment, very resembling to the day of judgment. Now, when we see the ayat and riwayat that talk about the day of judgment, there the rule of Allah is evident. Here also it is there, but here we can run away, we can hide, we can do things that no one can find out or see. On the day of judgment, that is not possible because la yumkinul firaru min hukumatik. No one can run away from the rule of Allah because His rule over there is evident, it manifests. Says that this day of Eid, it resembles the day of judgment, most resembling to the day of judgment. Why is that? Imam says that when you come out of your homes, you've performed your ghusl, you've dressed in white, and you've set off to say your Eid prayers, Imam says your mindset should be that you've come out of your grave and you are coming towards the mahshar to give an account on the day of judgment. And then when you stand to say your Eid prayers and you've offered your Eid prayers and then you return back to your homes, mindset should be that you are returning to the heaven. You've given an account, you've been passed, and you are going to the heaven. So this day of Eid, with that riwayat that was mentioned, that the angel he calls and he says that you have been forgiven, Allah qad ghufir, that you all have been forgiven. On a day, for a day like the Eid day and also the departure of this sacred month of Ramadan, there is a dua that Imam Sajjad alayhi salatu wasalam he has in Sahifa Sajjadiyah. There Imam he cries, he pleads upon the departure of the sacred month of Ramadan. Says that فَنَحْنُ قَائِلُونَ السَّلَامُ عَلَيْكَ يَا شَهْرَ اللَّهِ الْأَكْبَرِ يَا عِيدَ أَوْلِيَاءَ. Says, oh, salam be upon you, the greatest of Allah's months. And then says, Assalamu alayk ya Eid awliya. Salam be upon you, the Eid of the awliya. Assalamu alayk min shahrin qarubat fihi al-amal wa nushrat fihi al-a'mal. Salam be upon you, a month where all of the hopes had materialized, and a month where all the a'mal they were manifest and they were before. Imam then he says that we ask you, Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, a lot that we also remain and we see further and for many more months to come. Now when we see the same dua Imam Sajjad has, which is the farewell to the companion, who is the companion? It's the sacred month of Ramadan. Imam says, Assalamu alayk min qarinin Jalla qadruhu mawjoodan. Says that salam be upon you, a month which helped us keep away from shaitan. Salam and salutations be upon this month which freed the most people from the hellfire. Throughout the month, you just notice we recited Dua Mujir on 3 days, 13th, 14th, and 15th. And also 4 times we recited Dua Joshan Kabir. And in all these du'as, in Mujir we said Ajirna minan nari ya Mujir, that Allah keep us away from the fire, protect us from the fire, Ya Mujir, O protector. Or in Dua Joshan Kabir we said Khallisna minan nari ya Rab, Allah keep us away from the fire. Assalamu alayk ma akthara utaqa'illah feek. Imam says, Salam be upon you this month, a month where most of the people were freed from the fire majority of the people were freed from the fire of hell. Salutations on a month that erased the sins, removed the wrong that was done, and salutations to a month that was long and full of distress for the sinners, for the wrongdoers. Salams and salutations to a month that cannot be compared with any day, just like running into in a competition and you exhaust yourself and then you win a prize. Says this month of Ramadan was a similar month that we came and we fasted, we worshipped, we recited, and we exhausted to the best of our abilities. And now is the day to get the prize, to get the bonuses, to get the reward, and that is that night of reward that has arrived. And Assalamu alayk kama wafatta alayna bil barakat, says a guest who was himself no burden. The month of Ramadan was a guest. We were the guest, and the host was Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. So this month of Ramadan came into our life as a guest. Now here Imam says this guest who was not a burden at all, in reality he took away all the burden from us. A guest who gave so much of barakat to us, and a guest who is departing, and that departure is painful, and it is sad that the month is departing. Assalamu alayk wa ala laylatil qadr allati hiya khayrun min alf shahr. Imam says, Salam be upon you, O month, and Salam be upon Laylatul Qadr, that was better than 1,000 months. So a beautiful month is departing, which has so much of pain, which makes us all weep. And may Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala not make this month of Ramadan the last month of our life, inshallah. Now the du'as we will start. Remember, every one of those who has no access to this dunya anymore, all those who are ill and ailing, especially there are some requests here from mu'mineen that they are who are suffering, who are ill, and who need the du'as of other mu'mineen. And this is what was taught to us, that Allahumma shfiq kulla marid, that Allah, you give shifa to every marid. So there are some marza here who have requested, whosoever you may be having, bring them to your mind. All those who have departed, all those who have no access to this dunya, all those who have hopes in such majalis, all of them, keep them in mind. And top of the list is Imam of age, Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. And if I could be allowed to use the share screen. अहमद रजा शेयर स्क्रीन चाहिए. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. अस्सलाम वालेकुम. आगा मुझे आप होस्ट बना दें. आप वहीं पर देखें, मेरे नाम के पास जो है ना, मेक होस्ट कर दें मुझे आप. ना वहाँ पर मेरे नाम के पास जब जाएं उसमें. ये भी है ना यहाँ पर. नहीं, मेरे नाम के पास तो होगा नहीं. जी, ये यहाँ पर ये बेग साहब आए, इनसे आप पूछ लें, उनको आप फ़ोन करके पूछ लें. वही इसमें है ये ज़ाहिर में, यहाँ पर देखा इनको मैंने. जी, अभी मेरे पास है तो, लेकिन उसके अंदर मशीन में है. जी अच्छा. Sorry, for some reason I can't share the screen. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Takbirat that we have for tonight. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallahu, Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillah ala ma hadana. وله الشكر على ما أولانا. الله أكبر، الله أكبر، لا إله إلا الله والله أكبر. الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الحمد لله على ما هدانا وله الشكر على ما أولانا. يا ذا المن. Raise your hands. يا ذا المن والطول، يا ذا الجود، يا مصطفى محمد وناصره، صل على محمد وآل محمد. واغفر لي كل ذنب أحسيته وهو عندك في كتاب مبين. Once again. يا ذا المن والطول، يا ذا الجود، يا مصطفى محمد وناصره، صل على محمد وآل محمد. واغفر لي كل ذنب أحسيته وهو عندك في كتاب مبين. 100 times. أتوب إلى الله. In sajda if you can do it. أتوب إلى الله. أتوب إلى الله. I return to Allah. أتوب إلى الله. 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 اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. زيارة of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein عليه السلام. السلام عليك يا وارث آدم صفوة الله. السلام عليك يا وارث نوح نبي الله. السلام عليك يا وارث إبراهيم خليل الله. السلام عليك يا وارث موسى كليم الله. السلام عليك يا وارث عيسى روح الله. السلام عليك يا وارث محمد حبيب الله. السلام عليك يا وارث أمير المؤمنين ولي الله. السلام عليك يا ابن محمد المصطفى. السلام عليك يا ابن علي المرتضى. السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء. السلام عليك يا ابن خديجة الكبرى. السلام عليك يا ثار الله وابن ثاره والوتر الموتور أشهد أنك قد أقمت الصلاة وآتيت الزكاة وأمرت بالمعروف ونهيت عن المنكر وأطعت الله ورسوله حتى أتاك اليقين فلعن الله أمة قتلتك ولعن الله أمة ظلمتك ولعن الله أمة سمعت بذلك فرضيت به يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله أشهد أنك كنت نورا في الأصلاب الشامخة والأرحام المطهرة لم تنجسك الجاهلية بأنجاسها ولم تلبسك من مدلهمات ثيابها وأشهد الله وملائكته وأنبياءه ورسله أني بكم مؤمن وبإيابكم موقن بشرايع ديني وخواتيم عملي وقلبي لقلبكم سلم وأمري لأمركم متبع صلوات الله عليكم وعلى أرواحكم وعلى أجسادكم وعلى أجسامكم وعلى شاهدكم وعلى غائبكم وعلى ظاهركم وعلى باطنكم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Again, this is mustahab to be recited. I'll recite it twice. You also read with me. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد يا دائم الفضل على البرية يا باسط اليدين بالعطية يا صاحب المواهب السنية صل على محمد وآله خير الورى سجية واغفر لنا يا ذا العلا في هذه العشية يا دائم الفضل على البرية يا باسط اليدين بالعطية يا صاحب المواهب السنية صل على محمد وآله خير الورى سجية واغفر لنا يا ذا العلا في هذه العشية. Once again. يا دائم الفضل على البرية يا باسط اليدين بالعطية يا صاحب المواهب السنية صل على محمد وآله خير الورى سجية واغفر لنا يا ذا العلا في هذه العشية. There are some prayers to be offered tonight. You've got two options here. First is 14 rak'at, just like your Fajr prayers, in sets of 2. 7 sets of 2 rak'at. After Surah Al-Hamd, 1 Ayatul Kursi, and 3 times Surah Al-Ikhlas. So this is easy. You can do them. It won't take much of your time. And these are the prayers for tonight. So 14 rak'at. In every rak'at, Surah Al-Hamd, Ayatul Kursi, and 3 times Surah Al-Ikhlas. This is the dua that we have for tonight. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. It's easy, you all follow me. Ya Allahu, Ya Allahu, Ya Allah. Ya Rahmanu, Ya Allah. Ya Rahimu, Ya Allah. Ya Maliku, Ya Allah. Ya Quddusu, Ya Allah. Ya Salamu, Ya Allah. Ya Mu'minu, Ya Allah. Ya Muhaiminu, Ya Allah. Ya Azizu, Ya Allah. Ya Jabbaru, Ya Allah. يا متكبر يا الله، يا خالق يا الله، يا بارئ يا الله، يا مصور يا الله، يا عالم يا الله، يا عظيم يا الله، يا عليم يا الله، يا كريم يا الله، يا حليم يا الله، يا حكيم يا الله، يا سميع يا الله، يا بصير يا الله، يا قريب يا الله، يا مجيب يا الله، يا جواد يا الله، يا ماجد يا الله، يا ملي يا الله، يا وفي يا الله، يا مولا يا الله، يا مولا يا الله، يا قاضي يا الله، يا سريع يا الله، يا شديد يا الله، يا رؤوف يا الله، يا رقيب يا الله، يا مجيد يا الله، يا حفيظ يا الله، يا محيط يا الله، يا سيد، يا سيد السادات يا الله، يا أول يا الله، يا آخر يا الله، يا ظاهر يا الله، يا باطن يا الله، يا باطن يا الله، يا فاخر يا الله، يا قاهر يا الله، يا رباه يا الله، يا رباه يا الله، يا رباه يا الله، يا ودود يا الله، يا نور يا الله، يا رافع يا الله، يا مانع يا الله، يا دافع يا الله، يا فاتح يا الله، يا نفاح يا الله، يا جليل يا الله، يا جميل يا الله، يا شهيد يا الله، يا شاهد يا الله، يا مغيث يا الله، يا حبيب يا الله، يا فاطر يا الله، يا مطهر يا الله، يا ملك يا الله، يا مقتدر يا الله، يا قابض يا الله، يا باسط يا الله، يا محيي يا الله، يا مميت يا الله، يا باغث يا الله، يا وارث يا الله، يا معطي يا الله، يا مفضل يا الله، يا منعم يا الله، يا حق يا الله، يا مبين يا الله، يا طيب يا الله، يا محسن يا الله، يا مجمل يا الله، يا مبدئ يا الله، يا معيد يا الله، يا بارئ يا الله، يا بديع يا الله، يا هادي يا الله، يا كافي يا الله، يا شافي يا الله، يا علي يا الله، يا عظيم يا الله، يا حنان يا الله، يا منان يا الله، يا ذا الطول يا الله، يا متعالي يا الله، يا عدل يا الله، يا ذا المعارج يا الله، يا صادق يا الله، يا صدوق يا الله، يا ديان يا الله، يا باقي يا الله، يا واقي يا الله، يا ذا الجلال يا الله يا ذا الإكرام يا الله يا محمود يا الله يا معبود يا الله يا صانع يا الله يا معين يا الله يا مكون يا الله يا فعال يا الله يا لطيف يا الله يا غفور يا الله يا شكور يا الله يا نور يا الله يا قدير يا الله يا رباه 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 أسألك أن تصلي على محمد وآل محمد وتمن علي برضاك وتعفو عني بحلمك وتوسع علي من رزقك الحلال الطيب ومن حيث أحتسب ومن حيث لا أحتسب فإني عبدك ليس لي أحد سواك ولا أحد أسأله غيرك يا أرحم الراحمين ما شاء الله لا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. In sajda, I'll recite this slowly. You can repeat it in sajda. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Rabbu, Ya Rabbu, Ya Rabb, Ya Munzil al-Barakat, بك تنزل كل حاجة أسألك بكل اسم في مخزون الغيب عندك والأسماء المشهورة عندك المكتوبة على سرادق عرشك أن تصلي على محمد وآل محمد وأن تقبل مني شهر رمضان وتكتبني من الوافدين إلى بيتك الحرام وتسفح لي عن الذنوب العظام وتستخرج لي يا ربي كنوزك يا رحمن. Ask for your hajat. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. There is another set of prayers that is 10 rak'at in sets of 2, and that is in the first rak'at after Surah Al-Hamd, Surah Al-Ikhlas 100 times, and in the second rak'at it's going to be 1 time Surah Al-Ikhlas. أتوب إلى الله يا ذا المن والطول يا مصطفى محمد صلى الله عليه وآله صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Amir al-Mu'mineen says regarding these prayers, says that indeed by him in whose hands is my life, one who has performed this prayer, Allah will bless him with whatsoever he desires, and his sins, even though as many as the stones in the deserts, will be forgiven. According to another report, this prayer is to be performed with 1,000 Surah Al-Ikhlas. If we just stick to those 14 rak'at and that is Surah Al-Hamd, and then 1 Ayat Al-Kursi and 3 times Surah Al-Ikhlas. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك توعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك يا وارث يا صاحب الزمان. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان. عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. For all المؤمنين المؤمنات الفاتحة مع الصلوات. اللهم صل. Thank you all. Iltimas dua from every one of you. Don't forget to offer those the 14 rakat of prayers. Qurbatan Allah will be the niyat in sets of 2 and 2 and 2. So 1 Surah Al-Hamd, 1 Ayatul Kursi, and 3 times Surah Al-Ikhlas. Thank you. Iltimas dua. Khuda Hafiz. Alaikum salam. जी ईद मुबारक आपको. अलैकुम सलाम. ईद मुबारक आपको भी. मुबारक जी आपको ही बहुत मुबारक हुआ. अलैकुम सलाम. असदल्लाह यामुकुम. मुबारक टू यू ऑल. जी अब आप यही तो भेज सकते हैं और क्या भेजेंगे. इसलिए कि नहीं जी कोरियर भी बंद पड़ा है ना तो सिर्फ दुआ ही भेज सकते हैं बस. जी दुआ से दुआ. खुदा हाफिज. खुदा हाफिज. शुक्रिया. खुदा हाफिज.